What's up, everybody? Welcome back.
pdExes.
Episode 20.
5.
Not 25.
No, high five.
20.
High five.
High five.
Yes, because that's a landmark.
That's pretty cool.
Yay!
I mean,
go
I knew
us.
we would get to 20, but like, it's a really cool.
I thought doing
milestone.
5 was a lot.
Yeah.
5 was a cool celebration.
To celebrate, Greg got Doritos
Oh my gosh.
passion fruit. I feel like I've had this before.
You know that's not how you pronounce it, right?
It's Doritos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fuck, I hope so.
I don't know. I've never really had these before.
Well, for those of you who are listening.
Oh my God.
Oh.
This is so disgusting. I can't. It tastes like...
Okay, so we forget that this is a vlog, but also a podcast. So for those of you who are listening to your podcast on your drive to work, Ryan's holding the glass bottle of like the Mexican sodas that they have at basically any fast food place,
everywhere.
any cute little, it's very authentic. It's passion fruit.
Passion fruit.
I didn't think passion fruit was orange.
Oh my God. It tastes like if cabbage... Like if you mix like fish skin and cabbage.
That tastes like the last bite of Taco Bell.
Man.
That's like the
I
last.
don't know. I didn't think it was going to be like that. I mean, okay, I don't want to shit on you if your favorite drink is the passion fruit Doritos, but like, damn.
Well, you said you had every flavor.
We have a lot of flavors.
So why
yeah.
would you pick the passion
I
fruit?
don't know. I kind of like orange things. It's our first episode where we haven't had Baja Blasts.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 20, starting a new trend.
Mm-hmm.
No sugar soda.
Yeah, if you're not trying to sponsor us.
Yeah, Taco Bell. You had 20 episodes.
20 episodes to get with the trend.
Maybe next time. Man, we played these new Mario Kart levels.
Still trash.
Still trash. Still trash.
Are any of you surprised that we have this fucking opinion on this?
Okay, so just to back up, Mario Kart is releasing 8 levels.
Which is 2 cups.
Yeah.
It's 2 individual
like tournaments
of 4 and 4. So you get 8 levels and like.
I just can't with this goddamn game. Like, okay, so we bought the pack, so it allows us to like download all of them when they come out.
Mm-hmm.
But they are like the same shit every time. Mushroom. Oh, we got a bouncy ass mushroom level. Oh, wow. Oh,
Yeah,
we got a
spoiler
city. Oh, wow. A city level again. Wow. Oh, with their cars in it. Wow.
Well, they've done the new ones have been Paris, Tokyo,
New York.
Australia, New York.
We're gonna
And
get,
those are in like just the new ones they've launched. That's just in the last.
yeah.
So far they've done 4, 8, 12, 16.
Yeah.
16 levels.
They're so bad.
And every time we're so hopeful. We want it to be so good. We really, really want him to be good.
Yeah. We played the other day and not great. But again, you know, what do we expect? I just don't know like why they're waiting so long to put them out. That's my big dilemma. You know, and why I'm so harsh on him is because like, we're waiting like 3 months for these levels to come out and they're not great. It looks like they have like a library of like, oh, here's a mushroom and a building and a car.
Correct.
And then
like they're
just
pulling clip
planning
art.
out. Yeah.
They're
and
pulling
it's, like,
clip
not even that
art.
great.
Yes.
And so, I don't know. We're just every time. It's like an abusive relationship. pdExes, where we talk about how Mario Kart continues to beat the shit out of us. And we continue to come back
Because
time
we
and
love
time
it.
again.
Because we love you.
You don't know
We
him
love
like
you.
I know him.
I promise the next levels are going to be so much better and rewarding.
And we just show up, just beat up. We're like, no, not Nintendo.
Well, I mean, that is a little bit of a trigger warning. But I mean, with that being said, at some point, we're going to have to get into the actual X's that make up pdExes. Because I have quite a few of them.
Yeah.
And they're all trash. Sorry if you're listening. Thanks.
Yeah, basically most of my exes are trash.
Aren't exes in general trash?
They're kind of trash,
right?
I mean, I think sometimes you can keep a relationship going if you're good friends. And I think if you just kind of end it well, but I think a lot of people you have that like you end the relationship. You've told them all your dirty secrets.
That's true.
You're super vulnerable with this person. And you both had hope that it was going to be a good relationship, you know, to let somebody like fuck you in the ass a bunch. And then you're like, oh, now I have to hate this person, or they cheat on you, or something happens, you grow apart. And so sometimes people are like, hey, we're really good friends. Now other times it's like, nah, fuck him.
Yeah, there's a girl I work with. Her and her boyfriend of a couple of years recently split up, and the thing she was telling me about was breach of privacy, because she was really nervous that he's going to show everyone her nudes, and she's beautiful,
Right.
and not that that is any justification to like show someone another person's naked photos without their consent, which is a huge red flag.
Yeah.
Because she said that she heard from like a different girl that someone saw his pictures like the girlfriend before.
Oh,
so it could be kind of in that wheelhouse, which is not okay. And again, if you see anything that's like uncomfortable, or if you see something as a friend, your homeboy showing you photos, if you wouldn't want someone showing photos of your little sister and it's buddy to buddy, you need to cut that shit out, because that is not okay. You know, I could understand maybe like one photo, but if you guys separate and you're not together and you're not actively like seeing that person naked, you shouldn't be sharing those photos with anyone. You should delete them.
Well, they do have like revenge porn laws where you can't just like post, because that was the whole thing. There was some websites where you could post your ex's photos, and that's crazy.
That's fucking crazy.
People, they have laws now against it. I mean, thank God, because that's pretty lame.
I've been, a lot of my friends have been inquiring. We do still have the email. We do check it. If you guys want to write in, pdExespodcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
I had a couple friends that talked to me about getting catfished. I recently just got my haircut. Shout out to Wolf Maine in Portland. He's lovely. Love him. I got about 4 inches of my hair cut off. We were talking, and he was talking about getting catfished, and he's gay, and he was talking about living in Vegas, and he was talking about going on a date, and basically very, as he put it, handsome chocolate man was supposed to be the one he was meeting. He said he was sitting there, and all of a sudden he hears this little pipsqueak voice, "Hi, are you Mason?" And he said like his stomach dropped out of his asshole. Like he was just, couldn't believe it. Turned out to be a shorter Asian guy. And he ended up having a date, humored him. They had a good date. At the end of the night, he was like, "Bye, thanks for dinner."
That has happened to me before.
Bitch.
Yeah.
Youch.
So I was chatting with this guy, and he looked like younger, like 25, you know, like, and, which, you know, I tend to like people older than me, but he looked like a football player or whatever. And I was like, whatever, sure. You know, we were chatting. He's like, "I'll come over and I'll give you a blowjob or whatever." And then I was like, "Okay, cool." And he shows up, and he's like, probably like late 40s. It was a huge, like, he didn't even really look like the person. And like, okay, here's the thing. I still had him suck my dick because I'm trash. But it was like, okay, for me, it's kind of like,
I don't know whether I'm like mortified by way of breach of security, or like the fact that you still let him suck your dick and he wasn't who you thought he was supposed to be.
Part of it was like, that's on you. You know what I mean? That's your punishment. But also, here's the thing. They know that they're catfishing you, right?
Right, because he said that one of the first things the gentleman said to him was, "I would hope you would let me explain myself."
Yeah, and it's like, "I'm sorry, I knew you wouldn't want to chat with me." Now, I do like guys that are older than me, so I don't mind.
For those of you who are listening, I'm giving Ryan a really big fucking scowl right now, because it just doesn't make sense to me as a woman. If you are not who you said you were, it's the biggest violation of trust. Because as a woman, like, you could kidnap me. I don't know where I'm going.
I mean, that's fair.
You know what I mean?
I mean, like, with guys, it's just a transaction.
As I'm learning.
You know what I mean? Like, guys literally don't care. They're just like, you'll do. There's people that I've been with, I don't even remember their names. I remember, like, vague, like, shapes. And, like, I could kind of point them out.
Flashbacks.
I could point them out in a lineup maybe. But, like, you just, like, forget. But I remember I was like, well, you're not horrible looking, but I was kind of hoping it was going to be like a younger dude or anything. But at that point, I was just like, whatever. Like, we'll just do it. And it's kind of weird though. But they're hoping that you see them and then you go like, "Oh, my heart is open and I'll accept like whatever." And That's kind of
Oh,
shitty.
you went to the great ends of the earth to talk to me, and you wanted to like me, but you were scared I wasn't
Right.
going to give
Right.
you a chance. Well,
Yeah, I just remember in that
you
moment.
were right.
like,
I wasn't going to give you a chance.
my brain processing was just like, oh my God, this isn't the right person. Are they okay looking? Is this a safe interaction?
Correct.
Do they look okay? Should we continue to do the blowjob transaction? Yes. Okay. Well, fuck you. I guess we're just bye. See you later. It was weird.
So then once he left, what was the process? Were you just like,
I just took a shower.
I fucking hate it here. I fucking hate it here. This
That's
sounded
it.
like
You
such
just-
a good idea like 6 months ago, and now I'm sitting here like, what the fuck?
You're just like, oh, just wash everything off and we're all good. I mean, what else?
I
is
mean,
there to
I've had
do?
a couple weird interactions like that. Like, okay, I'll share the story when on my first Tinder date. I talk about one of the guys I met who was like chiseled from fucking marble when I talked about him early on. And as a girl, you're playing the options, right? So
Right.
I'm talking to two gentlemen. I'm kind of not necessarily don't have firm plans, but I really only have one day off a week. And I'm really just going to kind of balance things back and forth to see who is going to take the spot,
Right.
who's going to lock me in for
Right.
Thursday. And I remember I was talking to the one guy who was really handsome. His Tinder profile said he was 26. I'm in my 30s. I'm early 30s. So for me, I was like, that's a little young, 20, 24, 25.
Right.
That's just a little young for me being in my 30s.
Yeah.
Mentally, right?
Yeah.
25, 26, you want to hang out, party, drinking, all of the things. If I'm wrong, sorry.
I think that when people are like 21, all they want to do is just like go and get drunk and explore.
Yeah, or people have been in relationships, or like
Right.
people like my Pete Davidson, like he lived in the same house his whole life. He lived in the same house. So when he graduated and was able to be free, he wanted to go experience life, right? So you're going to go to college, sleep with all the girls, do all the things you couldn't do at home because now you're you get your own choice, right? And he ended up losing out, and I ended up going on a date with this other guy, and I went and had coffee with him, and it was super cute, and we had such a good time, and we talked and for like an hour, and we walked and talked, and it was cute, and we held hands, and it was just lovely. Having a day date is really cute. I recommend it to all my girlfriends. If you have a day off, it's really easy. It's really easy to meet up with someone for a cute little coffee walk. You go to the waterfront, you just hang out, have something normal, because then there's no pressure to drink, right? You don't have to drink.
Right.
It's not like, yeah, let's get drinks, which is great. But I remember going and meeting this guy, and then after our first date, I remember it was after, Jesus Christ.
Time for some of my Doritos.
Yuck. That's what I sound like after I drink whiskey.
It's so bad.
It can't be that bad.
I don't even know what it tastes like.
It tastes like passion fruit. Have you ever had passion fruit in real life, Ho?
I need it to be like a soda.
It's not.
It's like a
Passion fruit? What passion fruit soda?
This tastes like if La Croix like started going to the gym for like 2 weeks and they thought they were all that with their workout. Okay, that's what this shit tastes like.
I'm done. I'm fucked out, bitch. Bye.
Like you ain't a soda yet. You trying to be, but you only worked out for 2 weeks. So you just got past that being sore, and now you can go and you can work out. That's what Doritos is to me.
Anyways. So I remember texting this Tinder date after the first date we had, and it was very much, again, I'm a Virgo. My brain always wants to know why you're asking me the thing you're asking me. It doesn't have anything to do with what you're asking me. It wants to know the motive behind what you're asking me, right? So I remember him texting me, and I was in the bath. I remember this because I was taking an Epsom salt bath, and I just remember it was cute, and we're texting, nothing like too risque. So I thought, and then he goes, tell me a secret. And my head goes, okay, you're like in your mid 30s. Like, what the fuck kind of secret do you have to tell me unless you murdered someone or you're a gajillionaire? You're asking me because you want to tell me your secret. You don't want to know my secret, bitch.
You're fishing.
You want to know it. Yes. Thank you. So I have 2 heart-shaped birthmarks. So that was my secret. I was like, I have 2 heart-shaped birthmarks. And he's like, blah, blah, blah. Like, can I, and it's, you would always imagine it's like that. Do I get to see him kind of thing?
Of course. Oh, where are they?
Are you going to show me sometime?
Show
Yes.
me?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Are you going to show me sometime? We were talking about that today at work. We group those men in the same group with the men who say, where's my hug?
Bitch. For all those listening right now, Alexa did not just drink Doritos. You think I would like Doritos because it shares the same name to my favorite chip, Doritos. So
You're going to make a lot of people mad with your ignorance.
I wanted to like it.
I know.
Maybe if I drink a lot of it, I'll like it.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, so I told him about my heart-shaped birthmarks, and then he responds back that he may or may not have restraints under his bed for playtime.
I don't know. I like...
Kink talk needs to happen when it's initiated.
Yeah.
So, like, for those of you who do bondage, all that kind of stuff, the one thing they talk about is a game called paper cuffs, where you literally, like, like when you're in kindergarten and you cut the strips of paper and you do this and you do little link chains for Christmas. Yes, the Christmas countdown. There's a game if you're into experimenting with like bondage and things like that. It's called paper cuffs. So you're doing a paper cuff on each hand with the little fucking chain link things, right? And the thing with that is, at any point you could rip the cuffs and break the if it's fucking paper.
Right.
The thought behind it is that's the consent.
Yeah.
So I'm holding these paper cuffs and it's sexy and it's cute and that gives you the play where you're not actually fucking cuffed. You're not handcuffed. Because there have been certain times, like I was raped in college and there was certain times where we're in bed and a guy will he'll just kind of hold me in no way, shape, or form does he mean it, but certain kind of grab or like, and I'll just kind of go, I'll push you off of me or, it's always fluidity, but those moments are real. You get triggered really easily.
Yeah.
So to have him ask me about bondage play and stuff, and he goes, of course it's with like consent or it's for like playtime or whatever. And my brain
so wait,
like,
is he like, hey, these are for me? Or was he like, these
bitch, I don't know.
For you?
That's the discrepancy.
I mean, I don't know. I love like all sorts of weird kinks and things, but I'm like claustrophobic. I don't like being like under the covers and stuff. And I like the idea of being like, oh, I'm handcuffed to the bed or whatever. But like mentally, I don't know. I might freak the fuck out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like, and you watch it in the movies and you're like, that's not bad. But like reality, like if I was chained up, I don't know if I would like it or not. Like, and I trust people too. You know what I mean? Obviously, we're like good friends or whatever. But even then, it's I don't know if I can get past that.
Right.
You know,
that's why you got to have safe words. There's a lot of homework that goes into it. It's not just something that you can just spring on someone. So to have him be like, I may or may not have restraints under my bed for fun time, my brain goes, me or you, first off. Right. And the one thing that's pretty funny, and I joke about this, being a girl who's in fitness and being a girl who's like in shape, muscles, whatever.
Right.
Guys want to fucking try and throw me around in bed like they can just fucking whip me over. And there's nothing more fun than like being on top of someone and having them try and flip you over and I'm just not moving because I just know that you're going to do it. I've also dated a couple guys who are in like, who train martial arts. I'm not stupid. What am I supposed to say? Like
no, because in the movie I've seen movies where it looks really slick in the movies. They're like, oh yeah, we're just I'm gonna scoop you and roll.
Nope. The best ever, let me fucking tell you, the best ever was when I was snuggling with my Pete Davidson and I said all the right things. This is right when we first started talking. We weren't gonna fuck, but I wanted to fuck, but it was really cute and intimate. And we were just having that emotional intimacy. Yeah. Wow, that was hot. Emotional intimacy. Dear God. And I remember I was like snuggled on top of him and he literally grabbed behind my leg and he rolled me over and he's like, I'm going to fuck you. And I was like, okay. I couldn't eat anything. I was like,
yes, papa.
Yes, daddy. Yes, papa. Oh fuck! Yeah, that was the best. There are really sly things. It's the very keen, don't you? Yes, papa. But I will say one of my fucking favorite sounds right now is "You are like papa."
Oh.
So it's like, so there was a dog, and it was every time the mom goes to open the sliding freezer, it comes and it sits by the freezer and wants an ice cube. And so then when she does it and then she closes the door again, it's the audio and it says whatever, he says whatever, what's his name? Hopper, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So the beginning of the clip's whatever Hopper says, and then she goes, "You are like Papa." And so every time I hear it, like parents
So
who won't
funny.
let their kids stick the fork in the, it's just all the dumb things.
Yeah.
And it's just the very much like, "You are like Papa."
Oh man, Stranger Things is great.
If you haven't seen Stranger Things, you definitely need to.
Man, it's so good.
I just went and saw, this is going to make sense, I promise. My Pete Davidson for my birthday got me tickets to Jack Harlow.
Oh yeah.
And we went, it was this last weekend in Portland at the Memorial Coliseum. Holy shit.
It was good.
Now I saw Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah.
I've seen Machine Gun Kelly a couple times in different avenues of his life.
Right.
Saw him at the Roseland where he wore red leather pants and ripped them.
Mm.
He had like $10,000 leather pants he just bought that day or the day before and crowd
Ripped them?
surfed and then ripped the ass. And he was like, "Portland, I just ripped my ass out of my pants, but it was worth it. These were so expensive, but like it was worth it." So I remember seeing him.
Yeah, he took him back the next day. He's like, "Hey, don't need these."
Yeah, I ripped magically. And I don't have the receipt. Sorry.
Yeah, store credit's fine.
But I remember that when I saw him, earlier this year, it was really Jack Harlow was fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Holy shit. And I wasn't the biggest Jack Harlow fan. I'm one of the people who discovered him through TikTok. My Pete Davidson has known about him since 2018. We listened to a bunch of his old stuff. I didn't really know what was old,
He started
what was
the
new.
What's Poppin'.
Yes, it got really, really
There's
viral
like
on
a
TikTok.
remix, and then Lil Nas X.
There's quite a few.
Yeah, he's so good. Well, I like his whole vibe because he kind of is like the jock that like talks to everybody. You know what I mean? You just like, he's into sports and he's on the football
Jack Harlow
team.
seems like a fucking nerd.
Well,
Jack Harlow
like,
is a big nerd.
He feels
who
like the
bloomed
guy.
late.
Yeah, he's like, he hangs out with the jocks and he's a football player, but he also hangs out with you in the library, like legit, and he'll go play like D&D with you or something. And you're like, wow, you're supposed to be a douchebag, but you're really nice and you rap nice.
Yeah, he talked about being a late bloomer. The thing about Jack Harlow, I think that sets him apart is I don't necessarily think he's sober, but I'm pretty sure he does not actively drink or really smoke weed. At his concert, he talked about being a little kid, knowing he wanted to be one of the greats, knowing that he wanted to grow up in hip hop and all that stuff. And he talks about this backstory, and he comes out in the beginning as him, and it's a spotlight, but it's like the silhouette of him. He's behind the screen, so it's a reverse spotlight.
Oh.
And then they drop the curtain and he comes out. I was so fucking impressed because I saw pictures. I'll always check a big thing. Ryan and I have been to 200, 300 concerts in our life. Like
It's
we've
a
been
lot.
to
We've gone-
so many. My Pete Davidson's been to maybe 10. I think he said maybe 10. And I was like, holy shit. I've seen like Kid Cudi 6 times, 5 times. And we were talking about concerts, and I'm always pretty in the know. When someone comes to town, I want to check their Instagram story. I want to see if they're out and about. I want to see if they're downtown at Pioneer Square or, Machine Gun Kelly came. They went and saw Multnomah Falls, which is a big waterfall that's on the outskirts of town. It just really kind of depends, right? So we were checking Jack Harlow. So I'm starting to see some of the pictures of the night before. And it's him in front of like a big screen. And I was like, oh, dope. And I was talking to my Pete Davidson, and I was kind of like looking like this while I'm like beep, 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 because I don't want to ruin, I don't want to spoil the event. I don't want to watch the videos of Disneyland before I walk through Disneyland. That's a read. But it was really cool because he played, and then the fucking screen lifts up, and there's his tour was called Come Home, The Kids Miss You.
Oh, okay.
And it's basically, I was fucking shocked, man. It was so good. We're not going to give too many spoilers, but it's basically his set was very much like Stranger Things.
Okay.
And it was a garage. And he's got his little interlude where he leaves to go take a drink of water, probably go pee, and they play him on the screen, and he's in this fucking old school car, and the car rolls up on the garage. and the screen pops up and the garage pops out. And it's literally like he's playing in a garage band. And he's out in front.
Cool.
There's a basketball hoop. It is a life-size garage. It's got a fucking water hose that he was spraying people, like a garden hose and shit on the garage. To watch Jack Harlow play some of his older songs from 2018 with a live band.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. My Pete Davidson and I were freaking shocked.
Yeah.
And I will say, I'm a little disappointed because City Girls came out and City Girls opened.
Yeah.
They were not having it. I'm almost positive they left early.
Really?
I'm almost positive they got off stage early.
My friend said they thought it was like low energy or...
Granted, Portland is predominantly white. That is something that almost every famous person comes here already knows. Portland is just predominantly white.
Yeah.
I kind of hate it.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be that. I don't want to go to a concert and know that it's 9,000 people that just discovered this artist from TikTok.
Right.
Like, that's shitty.
Yeah.
That'd be the same thing where my best friend and I went to the Logic concert a super long time ago when he came and played at the Moda Center. And we were 10 years older than his younger crowd. And we were 10 years younger than all the moms that brought their kids to the concert because his floor seats were $500 a ticket.
Dang.
And the only people who could pay that were wealthy parents that were taking their kids that discovered him from Rick and Morty. Right. So I wanted to go and just have it be this authentic, great concert. And City Girls popped out. They did a couple songs. And they called people on stage to twerk with them. So they called up a couple people, and you could tell that way more people went up there, I think, than they wanted. Because it was a ton of people. Then everyone got kicked off, and they were trying to like do some hugs and stuff. And then to me, as someone who goes to a lot of concerts, that was the moment that ruined it. So I don't know if they were over it because so many people got on stage.
Right.
It could have been one of those Dave Chappelle moments where they're like, hey, your check is already cleared. Bye.
Right.
But they basically had said that they were going to play their last song. And I remember looking at my Pete Davidson and go, oh, I know this one. And then they cut the music and they're like, all right, we're out. We're done. Bye.
Dang.
And they like walked off the stage. And my Pete Davidson and I were like, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
That was really abrupt. That changed the energy. They turned the house lights on. And then we sat for like 45 minutes before he came out.
Huh. Weird.
I'm partly thinking it's because the set design was so amazing that they
Yeah.
had to fucking set up all that. He's on
They
grass. He's on turf.
They could have started late. And maybe they had to cut their set late. Maybe they were like, yo, bitch, you're
They
done.
were
You know
over
what I
it.
mean? Yeah,
And that was, to me, that was really disappointing. Obviously, there's other factors that play into it or whatever.
I mean,
but,
and also like you're on the road.
but there were girls that were there to see City Girls.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
were girls standing in front of us that had the full get up.
Yeah.
They made shirts.
I had coworkers that went.
Yeah.
They loved it. But yeah, I mean, like every show is like you can't do all of them great, and every so often it's like. You know, because their whole lives are on that tour, on that bus. As if the setup is wrong or something broke or their truck didn't show up in time or they start late or the venues got problem. I mean, there's so many things that can happen. And it could have just been like, yo, hey, we're starting late.
Or security let too many people on stage and they're like, hey, this is a safety thing. We're out.
Right. And this could be an ongoing issue. And they're like, look, if you let too many people on, we're done. I mean, there's so many reasons why. And not necessarily just the artists, but they also could, you know, that's their whole life right now.
The group that opened for City Girls and Jack Harlow, they were the homies.
Yeah.
They were great.
Yeah.
They were super cute. Their energy was great. I kind of wish that
It was a different
order. order. However, the one thing I will say that I've noticed, because Ryan and I we're like, in no exaggeration, hundreds of concerts.
Yeah.
Not even festivals. I'm not going to a festival and counting that as like 10 concerts. That's like one concert. We've been to a ton of artists. And at the end of the homies, the guy stops the set and he makes everyone back up because someone passed out. And he was like, hey, like you guys need to help her, whatever. And me and my Pete Davidson were like, wow. And you could tell they turned the AC on. They started passing out waters. Tell me why water has to be $8 at a venue.
That needs to stop. It needs to fucking stop.
Water needs to be free at events. If you're giving me fucking Dasani, I'm paying $8 for a carbonated Dasani at an event.
Yeah. That's a big thing. Water shouldn't cost you a ton of money. It's a human resource.
That's a liability at that point.
We should be getting people plenty of water. It should be affordable.
Because festivals,
$2.
I remember there were a couple festivals in Seattle where people died because the water was $15 a bottle.
Damn.
Well, I remember being at Freak Night in Seattle And this girl next to me looked like she was going to die. And I'm
Yeah,
from Portland.
yeah.
Portland culture, we love each other. We're very like in like that rave culture. It's very
Right,
plur, right? Peace, love, unity, respect. Like when you're on ecstasy, it's all for the most part good feelings and love
Right,
and you're
right.
beautiful. And it's like that's where that culture comes from, right? It's loving and generous and, you know, golden rule, do unto others how you want people to do unto
Right,
you.
right.
And so I remember being in Seattle and I went to hand this girl my water and her boyfriend walks up and like pushes my hand away and he's like, get that shit out of here. But I don't know we don't know who you are. And I go, and I was with my boyfriend at the time. And he was like, hey bro, he's like, you need to go get your girl some fucking water because she's going to pass out. And then the girl kind of grabs onto him and she's like this. And she's like, yeah, I don't feel good. I go, I'm drinking this water. And I was drinking it in front of him. I was like, you need to let her have this.
Right.
And he gave it to her and she's just like trying to drink it. And I just was like, you're welcome to the guy. And he was so embarrassed. And I get it. Like you don't want to,
Yeah,
I get
but
it.
I mean,
but
like,
like
yeah.
take care of your girl before you worry about what I'm trying to help her. Like she's going to pass out.
Yeah.
Like when people get, their lips are white. When people's
Right,
lips
right.
start turning white, like you got to help them. You got to do something.
Greg and I were at Coachella this year, and we were at a gay tent, and it was for like had chairs, and you could sit down. They had a little DJ, and there was a girl sitting there, and she looked fucked up. And we were just like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah," and you could tell she was having a hard time breathing. We were just like, are you sure? And it's like, it's super dusty, you know? And so we were just like, do you want us to get you some water or like whatever? So we got her some water and came back and we were like, do you need some help? And we were like, hey, and she's like, yeah. She's like, she kept hitting her inhaler a bunch of times. And you really shouldn't do your inhaler that much.
No.
So we ended up getting her some help, and they brought like a medical golf cart, and but we got her number, and so we were like, hey, if you're okay, like hit us up later.
So we know that you're alive. There have been times that, you know.
She did, by the way. She hit us up and said she was fine.
Good.
Yeah.
And she's probably super grateful for you guys because what happens when you go to festivals and you're doing mushrooms or ketamine or
just
ecstasy,
drinking.
fuck, you could be doing anything. Like there are so many times where I've seen someone on the side of the wall and be like, hey, you good, homie? And you're like, oh, yeah, thank you for snapping me out of that. So it's kind of that cadence of like, be a good neighbor, you know?
Well, in Coachella, it's tough because there's so many people and it's hard to get help sometimes.
I've never been. I just at this point think I'm too sensitive to everyone's energy. Like it would be so overwhelming for me to just be around.
It is a
all of
little
it.
bit, but like you deal, you know, and you can go to different areas that don't have a lot of people.
Yeah. I had a hard time at Jack Harlow, and I kept turning around and looking at my Pete Davidson, and I was like, I'm going to punch this drunk girl in my
but
face.
when you're
I need
at
to
like
get out of here.
when you're at the Moda Center or something, it's a little different.
That's
because
true.
everybody's just a douchebag.
That's very
and
true.
everyone's driving. When you're at Coachella or Burning Man or whatever, everyone's like doing the same experience as you, and they're putting themselves through all this turmoil to like have a good time. So for the most part, everyone is.
That's
cool.
true.
Every so often you get some douchebags, and I've had interactions with douchebags before, but for the most part, it's not too bad.
Well, good.
I did trip a girl once because she ran into me and didn't apologize, so I kicked her foot, and then she shoved me. I was like, "What, bitch? You just ran into me and didn't apologize. Like you literally just walked right into me."
That's
You know what I mean?
unfortunately,
Like,
that's
fuck
Portland
you.
culture. In Portland, you're like, oh my God, I'm sorry. And you're like, no, I'm sorry. And in Seattle, I was getting fucking shoulder checked by people.
yeah,
I've
it's like-
never had that happen in my
She just
life.
literally like walked into me, and I was like, "Sorry," and she just like kept walking, so I just kicked her foot, and she tripped, and then she stood up and shoved me, and
That had nothing to do with having a
I was
little
like,
sister,
"Fuck you!"
right?
No, I just like be nice. Like you think you're better than me. You just fucking walk into me and like not like, "Oh, so sorry." I don't know. I probably piss people off at festivals and not known it. I always think I'm like so cool, but like I'm sure I've upset people. But for the most part, like we're into that Burning Man vibe. You know what I mean? Where we're like, we want everyone to have a good time, and like I want, hey, how can I help you out? You know. I also feel like if you're at a festival, you know, and you're in a really good, big, crowded area, like maybe don't have your backpack on, you know, maybe put it on the floor next to you or like hold on to it or like wear it in front of you.
Oh, this girl in front of me who wears their hair down to a concert, butt length hair down. So not only is her hair in my face, and it's not super crammed. We were general admission, which is one of my personal favorites.
Right.
But she had this bag on her shoulder. Her bag just kept fucking pendulum swinging.
I fucking hate that.
And I just grabbed his arm and we just walked someplace else. He's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I just want to be able to enjoy the concert. I want to be able to see what's going on and not have to deal. And the one thing I've noticed about girls is girls get really pressed at concerts and almost like want to make a scene in front of you about you. Because I moved away and I told my Pete Davidson, I was like, I don't want to be by this girl. She's driving me fucking insane. And I'm pretty sure she heard me.
Yeah.
And so then they're like talking or whatever, chatting amongst them. And I'm just like, girl, you drunk. You're all super drunk.
You. Well, that was the one time at the Moda Center we were seeing
Fall Out Boy.
Yeah.
We were there to see Cobra Starship, who opened.
Yep.
It was super cool. That was all super cool.
And we kept getting kind of pushed, we're getting like, ugh. And this lady thought I was trying to grab her butt.
No, she was
just like super mad.
We were getting when you're in the mosh pit of the people, she thought you were trying to smash her daughter.
Well, then she said that.
Yeah,
so she
there was
like,
this little
stop
tiny
pushing
girl.
Me, stop pushing me. And I'm like, girl, you're literally on the rail. There's no more room. So you are in the worst possible spot.
Correct.
Yes, you get to lean over with your arms over, but your ribs are getting crushed. That's just how it is. You chose to be up that close.
And it's not intentional. Sometimes it's intentional if you have people that want to get through you. If it's just a sea of people, it's just pressure.
You just can't help it.
That's why artists will tell everyone to back up. Everyone needs to back up.
Well,
so the people in the back can move the fuck back.
The Travis Scott thing, that's what happened. It's because everyone was so smushed together that the forces, it works like water. So when you push somebody, it's just going. It's not dispersing at all.
Correct.
So this lady got all, she was like super oppressed and was like,
yeah. And I remember she grabbed the back of your neck.
Yeah. I was trying to like get around her or to the side of her and she grabbed the back of my neck. And I looked at her friend and I was the person next to her. I go, are you with this bitch? She was like, no. And I was like, are you with this bitch? She's like, no. And I'm not going to knock you the fuck out. I was like, Justin Timberlake is here in a month if you want to bring your stupid daughter back.
Yep, I remember that.
And she's like, I'm going to get my husband. I was like, go ahead. I'll punch him too. I don't give a fuck.
I remember that because she grabbed the back of your neck. And that was the first time I ever remember like laying hand on someone because she grabbed you. And I was like, oh, the fuck not. I'm like, Skeletor.
Girl, like, fuck off.
I remember, now that you say that, I remember that.
It was so funny.
You know this bitch? You know this bitch? All right, I'm going to knock you the fuck out. And she thought she was so tough. But the thing is, when you're at a concert, love your neighbor, right?
Yeah.
No one's there. Well,
sometimes people are there to like touch butts.
Yes. Sometimes people are uncomfortable.
Like, I mean, and yeah, I get it. You're a woman and you feel a type of way, but like, I have no desire to be like pushed into you. It's just what happens. So you just go, oh, sorry.
But also it's awareness. Yeah. Do not take your child to a general admission anywhere. Sorry. If you're not going to see the Wiggles.
Yep.
There were a couple kids. Well, it's true.
It's true. Yeah.
There's no rules. I'm sorry. To be fair, it's the same thing with like, yes, there's a golden rule of guys shouldn't hit girls. I was told when I was younger and I ran with the hoodlums of the kid that I dated, they said, if you ever throw a punch, be prepared to eat a punch because there is nothing saving you. This golden rule of guys not laying hand on you, like if you like girls who get into guys like he gonna knock you out, girl, like I know you think the golden rule is that he's not gonna touch you. A boy can absolutely knock your ass out if he wanted to, and the reality of it is he's gonna be pretty successful at it.
You might get knocked out. Well, and if you're gonna bring your stupid fucking kid and you're gonna act like everybody around you
no hold on, let's preface. If your kid wants to go to general admission and they want to see Fall Out Boy, whatever, go general admission. But just know that if you're in that circle of people, it's all like kinetic energy, right? Yeah. No one isn't intentionally trying to smush your child, but if you're in that area where everyone's being smushed and you're trying to get to the front, you can't expect that anyone's going to treat you different.
Kevin
Sorry.
and I, we because we're good friends with Slipknot, we've seen probably, man, I would say we're up in the top of people that have seen the most Slipknot shows besides their like crew.
Yeah.
And it would be a game for us to try to get on the rail at the front. And we would do it almost every single time because there's a strategic way to do it.
Yeah.
And so we would just go and we'd be like, nah, we're not going to get up on the rail this time. We're just going to hang out in the back. And then like halfway through, we're just like, all right, let's do it. And then you just start walking your way and weaseling your way up to, I mean, it's not that honorable, but like at the same time, just I'm not
Well,
hurting anybody.
A metal show like that is different too because you're moshing. It's fluid.
Kinda, but
You know
most,
what I mean?
most people that are at the front of the shows like just want to be up there so they can like
See,
see.
How
But then
selfish of you guys. You done seen them 9 million times.
yeah,
You're like,
but we're
"Tee-hee-hee."
bored.
Yeah. Oh, great. You're bored, so you want to take the experience.
I
away
mean,
from
but it's
someone who's
also
never seen
fun.
them.
It's also fun to be in the front.
Yeah, front's super cool.
Because you get like fresh air and there's nobody pushing you. And then your ribs hurt because you're getting pushed against the bar. But like, I don't know. That's like the best seat in the house, kind of.
I remember getting early admission to see Machine Gun Kelly when he came before the pandemic. And I remember we've been to so many concerts that I basically knew getting in. I went by myself. I was general admission. And people were like, oh my gosh, you went by yourself. Yeah, it was great. I had the best fucking time. I got to do whatever I wanted.
Right.
And I went up front. And the strategy would be if you are a guy or a girl who wants to go to a concert by yourself, have a strategy, have a plan.
Right.
Don't go, you know that you can't get fucking shitty. I remember I had a couple edibles before I went, a couple little tiny ones just to kind of give me a good layer, just in case I wasn't going to smoke or drink or do anything in there. And I remember I was very strategic. So if you want to go by yourself, you have to make sure you find like-minded people to kind of tag along with their group. So when I got to the front, early admission, walked in right up front, no one's in the Rose Garden. And I walked between two girls who both have boyfriends. And they didn't know each other, but I was like, hi, we start talking or whatever. And I'm like, hi, I'm, Lex, nice to meet you. And they're like, are you here with anyone? I'm like, no, just myself. And then they automatically absorb me into their group. Right. So now I not only have their protection, but I have the boyfriend's protection, right? Yeah. And I remember going to see Machine Gun Kelly thinking he was the opener, and he wasn't. So Machine Gun Kelly was opening for Young Thug. And I, at the time, had no idea who that was. And so it was really nice for me because the boyfriend of the girl I was with, I ended up giving him my rail spot. So they got to see the people they were there to see. And I got to see Machine Gun Kelly. And I was like, all right, I'm out. And they're like, you don't want to be up front? I was like, nope, I saw who I want to saw.
Oh my God. That's so funny.
I saw who I wanted to see. And so then I just was like, hey, get your boyfriend to come slide. I'm going to push back. And he got to take my spot. And it was really cool because I saw him after the concert and they were like, thank you so much. That was so cool. We got to like be up there. And another best kept secret of concerts, if you're there afterwards, check the fucking floor.
Yeah.
Guitar picks, money, drugs, wink.
Yeah, concerts are really fun. I was working at the security for the Roseland and I saw a ton of shows there. And I would work on the rail and like there'd be all these people being like, tell them to stop pushing. I'd be like, I can't. Everybody wants to be where you are. Like everyone wants to be in the front. And it was like, I think the one that was at was like some Disney guy or something. So it was like, all these teen girls wanted to see him. And everyone was pushing. So all these people on the rail, they were just like, tell them to stop pushing. And we were like, you can't. Because like, every single person in here is pushing. I'll help you get out, but like we can't.
Yeah, we can remove you, but we can't stop the force of people wanting to come forward.
And it's just like you need to make sure that you're prepared for that. Like everybody wants to be where you are. Everyone behind you wants to be in your spot.
And I know that we're talking about this and it probably sounds really fucking savage, but that's the truth. We've been to hundreds of concerts.
It's
hundreds.
just somebody is willing to take your spot and they're going to shove you and push you as hard as they can and make your life miserable until you have to tap out and they'll take your spot.
It's true.
Yeah.
We've stood behind people and we've watched people get elbows in their back. There's just all this vicious stuff, there's a lot of mean things that happen.
And it's weird too, because we'll be there, and somebody will be mean and I'll be like, I know them, like, why are you being mean to me? I'm good friends with them.
Yeah.
Concerts are weird.
Just be prepared. Be prepared. Concerts are rogue.
Yeah.
People don't give a fuck. They want to stand where you're standing.
Right,
They want their face to be seen by Jack Harlow.
Yep.
They want to scream and holler and hoot, and they don't care that they don't know you. They don't care you brought your kid. There are people you'll meet at concerts who are just savage, and that's just what they do.
Yep.
So be prepared. And the biggest thing would be drink water.
Yeah.
Drink water. It doesn't matter if it's $20. You need to have water money when you go to a concert.
Right.
We were halfway through, and between City Girls and Jack Harlow, I looked at Pete Davidson and I was like, I need some water.
I do a Camelback when I'm at Coachella just because I want water.
Access. You need that access.
Man, yeah. If you're not drinking water all the time, man, you're going to get fucked up. because you don't realize how much you're sweating, how much you're walking around.
Basically, it's the standing.
Yeah,
You're standing for a super long time. Yeah. Oh, also, God, I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it. I guess you know what? Let's look perspective. I don't understand why you would want to wear a stiletto high heel to a concert.
Damn. That's dedication.
And the
bitch want to be tall,
is
though.
like this. The stiletto is not like a wedge.
Tall. She wants to, you don't want to be all short when you meet Jack Harlow. There's a chance. It's the tiniest chance.
You know what? You're not even able to fucking walk after the opener because you've been standing on your standing
tiptoes.
On not even anything soft or mushy. You're standing on
I don't know how girls
wear
those shoes, man.
They're cute.
Well, they make your legs look great, I guess. But because
your leg is at an angle, so everything's all flexed, so it makes your legs look good, which is nice. I think for me, it's just special. You don't get to do it all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't get to wear heels all the time. And if you do wear heels all the time, like you work in a courtroom or you wear a fucking stiletto or you're a businesswoman, like you a baddie. Yeah. If you wear that fucking heel, I know your feet are hurting. I know your feet are hurting to look good. Mom always used to say, beauty is pain.
Yeah.
Beauty is pain.
Yep. I always say that. When people go, man, that's painful, I go, fashion. That's it.
Well, it's like when people ask if my tattoos are painful.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, I'm like, well, they were not licked on by kittens.
Yeah. I get people asking. I have a really high pain tolerance, but it's the inside ones that kind of hurt. But for me, it's just more annoying.
Yes.
I think because I got Sid from Slipknot's face on the back of my left calf. Mm-hmm. And
didn't you fall asleep?
No, I usually fall asleep when I get tattoos, but that one I kept twitching. I don't know why. I kept like my leg kept spasming.
Well, you're by that Achilles.
And so like the whole time it's spasming, not often, but every like 30 seconds. And so I'm now hyperfixated on trying to not have my leg just jolt out while she's permanently tattooing me. And then like that is not allowing me to like get into a zone where I can relax.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that was like, it was like 2.5, 3 hours or 2.5 hours where I was just like, please save me. And it wasn't painful. It was just, I couldn't relax because I was so paranoid that like, I'm going to just go, and she's going to go bzz, and be like, whoop, fuck that up.
But tattoo artists are prepared for that a little bit.
Yeah. So I don't really have any like personal stories, I think, that are great from concerts, like hooking up or whatever. But my twin brother, Kevin, and I went and stayed at some random person's house that he met at the show. Like, so I feel like we were in like California somewhere, but it might have also been like New Mexico or some. Mm-hmm. It was in the middle of nowhere, like Fresno. And we're hanging out with Slipknot, and I don't know I think the person was like also hanging out backstage or something. We knew them somehow.
Friend of a.
Yeah, or like we saw them at the show, and Kevin ended up talking to this girl, and we were like, some shows we'd go and we'd get a hotel or whatever, and this specific one we're going to sleep in our car on the way to the next venue or something. Like we didn't really plan it out. And so he's like, oh, I got this chick I might fuck or whatever. And I have made my brother sit in the car while I've went and had sex with somebody on multiple occasions. And so I was like, fine, I don't want to.
Wait. How does that work? You're just like,
wait in the car. I'll be back.
What's the longest you ever made him wait?
Couple hours, probably. I mean,
a couple, bitch.
Well,
we talking Lord of the Rings?
I mean, like, there's some
extended
times where,
cut.
like,
We talking 3 hours,
yeah,
4 hours?
Well, like it, we're just like hanging out. We haven't quite get to the fucking. You can't just be like, hey,
my brother's in the car. We gotta fuck. I got
real
90
quick.
minutes.
It's just me hanging out, and then that turned into like, oh, hey, we gotta fuck. You know what I mean? And like we're on a road trip or whatever. Fuck him. You know what I mean? Like,
fair
I feel. But in this moment, I was like, all right, I owe you. So we'll go stay at this lady's house or whatever. And it was before like where we had like really good phones. Yeah. It might have been like a flip phone or whatever. Or I don't remember.
The brick.
Yeah. And so we're following her and we're driving. I mean, it must have been like 45 minutes. We're following this lady. It is so long. We were driving in the middle of nowhere. I mean, she's driving like she lives
Right.
nearby. You know what I mean? I don't feel weird, but like, I remember we like called her and she's like, I know it feels like we're driving in the middle of nowhere. We're almost at my house. And then we end up.
You even preface it that way? You're like, hey, I know it feels sketchy, but I swear it's not sketchy.
No, she was just like, I know it feels like we're in the middle of nowhere, but like we're almost there. So, and I think we stopped and got some food because that's literally all I give a fuck about. It's just, I need to eat. I want fast food. And then we went to this lady's house and I feel like she had fleas because I was sleeping on the couch and I remember you remember parachute day in elementary school? I took the blanket or the sheet and I remember I just cocooned myself in it because there were fleas and I was just like, well, this is what I'm doing for the night. And I just, and I, you know,
Now,
I don't know if my brother like fucked or not or
did
whatever.
she have fleas? Did she, bitch?
Yeah.
Because you're making it sound allegedly like you don't want to get.
Well,
did she have fleas, ho?
she had fleas.
Oh my God.
But I mean, it wasn't like she personally didn't have fleas. She had like
Yes, she
probably had
did.
she had like a
Yes, she
dog.
did.
You know what I mean?
And that was her house. Those fleas were
And
hers.
so I just remember I was just like just cocooned in this thing, and I was just like, I put my brother through so much. I will take this one for him. Yeah, and I don't know what they did. I mean, I don't even remember honestly if they fucked or not. But yeah, it was pretty funny. But yeah, I just remember it was like, I was like, dude, we don't need to spend the night at this lady's house. But he's like, no, I'm trying to like fuck or whatever. And I was like, all right, let's go. I remember I was in Chicago once. I made Kevin wait in the car for like hours. But I didn't give a fuck.
Of course. Selfish bastard.
Well, and also like when I just like kind of came out and I was like meeting people, I would, I would just be like, hey, and you know, we'd be on a trip and a lot of times, sometimes the trips would be like I'd be paying for the trip and bring him along.
Right. And you're
You know
like,
what I mean? So I'm like, hey,
help me out, ho.
I'm going to do this regardless of whether or not you were here. So, you know, sit on your phone while I go get fucked.
oh, what a life you live.
Sorry. But yeah, I remember that being kind of an interesting moment. But yeah, it's kind of weird.
I feel like I've had a lot of traumatic experiences that I've just quite literally blocked out.
It's funny because like the more I talk about and share stories, the more I remember. Because I remember I went with my old roommate.
Well,
Brian.
you have hundreds
I have so
of
many.
unique individual stories that have all blended together. I have maybe 5 or 6 men that I've dated who have been absolute disasters.
Yeah, you're basically like the Avengers movies, you know. And then I'm just like the TV shows.
Bitch.
I'm just
That's a very niche joke, okay?
There's a lot of these. Yeah, I'm
a
just the
very
regular
niche
movies,
joke.
and you're like the Infinity War movies. Because all my stories have been pretty wild. I have wild stories. I'm not telling them until like episode 50.
That's true.
I just can't. They're so good. They're so good that I don't want to spoil them too early. They get lost. But yeah, concerts are weird, and it's just kind of free game. And I think hopefully people have better awareness after the Travis Scott stuff happened.
I had a friend who was there.
I had friends that were there. And so a little bit more awareness. And then like, I don't know, how bad would you feel if you were at a concert and you one of a 10,000 people smushed 3 people to death? You know what I mean? Because everyone's just, you know what I mean? Like that mentality, you don't think about it, but like you can't do anything about it either. Because when everyone's in a big ass group, it's just how the physics work. There's some concerts where people will get trampled and stepped on. And like, you're like, how could this happen? But like, when you're just in a sea of people, like you can't, there's no, you know what I mean? But I think people need to be more aware. I think people should be nicer, but also if you have a kid, if you're in the front, it might not be the best spot for you.
Correct.
You know what I mean? A seat
Check
is
your
really
surroundings.
good.
Yep. Get a seat close
'Cause
by.
if things go wrong, it's just hard to manage. So you gotta take care of people because sometimes you're not around people that are aware or that, if it's dark and everyone's in the zone, oh my God, my favorite artist. They're not really paying attention to anything else.
Or people are drunk. And when people are drunk, they don't realize what they're doing and they're smashing you and smushing you because they're drunk and they don't understand that you're a 100-pound girl and he's a 250-pound dude. and he's smushing his back into you or
Right,
whatever.
right.
It's just about awareness.
Yeah.
But also in those instances, you got to know you just kind of have to remove yourself from that situation. That
Right.
girl in front of me was irritating me. I grabbed his hand. We just walked 3 feet over to the left and stood in
Right,
a great
right.
spot and danced and had a cute time.
Also, it's kind of like a current. I feel like if you go, like a lot of people try to go back, but I think the easiest way is to go out the sides.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know shit, but like when you try to go back, people are already clumped together and trying to come forward. So it just like,
Or
go out the side, like walk parallel. You'll see the stream. There's a little gap and you just say, excuse me, trying to get out. Excuse me, excuse me.
I will always put both of my hands up and I go, I want out.
Yeah.
I want out. I'm trying to get out. I want out. So then when I turn around, if you turn around, I want out. And so people will kind of part for you or should part for you.
I was at Coachella one time and I was trying to get out and these people were so mean. I was like, I'm trying to leave. And they're just like, ugh. And I'm like, get out of my way. I'm going that way. Like, what are you upset about? Like,
You didn't
move.
pay for my ticket. Yeah.
I remember I was at FYF in LA and I'm trying to get to my friends. And I think, I don't remember, we were like trying to see Bjork or I think Solange or something. And I was trying to get to my friends and they were like three people up, you know, but it was like, the show was about to start. People have been there for a long time and I had to pee or something. And I hate when people do that, but I was like, excuse me. I'm trying to get to my friends. Excuse me. We just got a group of like 15 people. Like I'm trying to, and this one guy was like, you can't get by here. You can't. I was like, my friend's literally there with the like red hat or whatever. He's like, you can't. Nope. Not getting through. I was like, the fuck I'm not. And so then I went around and then I was like, hi. I just went around them. Then I waved like, hi, I'm up here now. Like, you don't fucking own the crowd. I mean, I hate when people like gatekeep or when
I
people
like
try to get by.
assume that it's with good integrity. Hey, my friend's right there. You know what? It's just easier for me to just let you go past me than me trip the fuck out.
But also
honestly.
like at Coachella, there'll be people sitting on the ground. There'll be like people, like just groups of like 8 people and they're just sitting on the ground. And then they get
Why?
mad when people like trip into them. I'm like, yo,
we
you're
had
literally on
girls
the ground.
sitting down in front of us and someone kicked one of them on accident. And then someone goes, yeah, you girls shouldn't be sitting there.
That's another tough thing too. People sit. I mean, I get it. You're tired, but like when you're at Coachella and the weekend's about to come on and everyone's trying to get into their spots and find their friends, like you sitting on the ground is no bueno. Like you should not.
There's just etiquette.
sit.
There's
Yeah,
just certain
you're gonna get
etiquette,
kneed in the face. Something's gonna happen. Like you got a little window to sit, but like maybe 15, 20 minutes before you should be not on the ground. When
Correct.
it's dark. You're going to get smushed.
Mm-hmm.
And I've stepped on people. I've fallen into people before. And like, okay, well, you're the one sitting on the ground at 11 o'clock at night at a festival. So yeah, we learned a lot today. We learned about concerts.
Again.
Greg and I are going to Austin City Limits.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
It's going to be cool. Lil Nas X should be there. I'm so excited. We'll get to do all this concert stuff all over again.
It's a good experience. I went with my Pete Davidson. We had such a cute date. It was such a cute date. First date at a concert, probably not.
Yeah.
Second date at a concert, maybe not. But if you have someone that you know, for me, concerts are so special because I'm a very big quality time person. And so for me now, when I listen to Jack Harlow, I remember me dancing.
Right,
or
right.
when I listen to, oh my God, bitch, I know we're trying to get out of here and end this podcast. But when we were at this fucking concert, they played WAP with Cardi B and fucking Meg Thee Stallion. And like, when I tell you the girl in me that needed to fucking dance with my boyfriend to this fucking song, and not only do I know every single word to the song as your rightful path as a woman,
right.
I was getting down.
Yeah.
We were dancing. It was very cute. I imagine we were just fucking, everyone in the stands were spectating. I'm literally bent over in half dancing on him. He said that there was a Karen standing next to him who saw me and her eyes got really big. And he said he turned her and went, yeah, I know.
Oh,
It was so good. It was
It's
so good. Go to a concert.
Yeah. Well, we learned a lot today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, talked about concert etiquette. Just be careful when you go to a concert. You're not taking a person that, isn't age appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in the front isn't the best spot. Yes, you get the good visuals, but you also might get squished.
It'd be better to have a story where you can have a positive story from start to finish than have something traumatic happen.
Yeah. I mean, and I've had many bruised like chest pains where I'm like, it was worth it. But sometimes it's not. And you got to be careful, you know, if you're taking your kid that you're not going to be waking up the next morning and be like, my chest.
I mean, I was in our very, very early teens when we went and saw Fallout Boy when that girl grabbed you. Like that was a very traumatic experience to be, you know, so young and have someone just.
I was like, man, am I going to fucking fight with this lady at Fallout Boy?
Yeah.
What the fuck? And it wasn't even Fallout Boy at the time. Or was it? I think it was like the opener.
We were gearing up for Fallout
and I'm
Boy.
just like, what, bitch? Fuck you.
Well, again, if you have any stories or anything you want to share, please write into us.
Yep.
If you have any crazy concert stories, that'd be really cool to hear.
Any weird people, write in.
Yeah. Well, looks like that's all for our 20th
I know.
episode. Woo! See you next week for 21, guys. Bye. Oh, do you have to clap?
Oh, yes. Ooh.
That was a good one.